Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you for joining me for card number 16 of my Countdown to Christmas series. Today we're going to create a Christmas card using a couple of stamp sets from Concord 9th. One is a background stamp set and then the other one has candy canes and trees, kind of layerable, which makes it really nice. There is a coordinating die set with the stamp set. I'll list it below even though you won't need it to create the card because I thought the die set would have the dies that would cut out the word joy, but it doesn't. So it just cuts out the candy cane and the Christmas tree and the ornament. It's called Sew Merry Shapes. It's sewing is involved with that die set, but I'll list it below if you're interested. We are going to do some stamping directly on my card base. I created a card base with some Concord 9th cardstock. This is Aqua Sky. I just cut my 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock in half, scored it to create my card base. So my card base measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, which means it is a standard note card size. So we lined it up, and when I was lining it up, I thought usually background stamps cover my panels pretty easily. This one I had a little bit of trouble with because I realized it wasn't a 6 by 6 stamp set. It's actually 5.5 by 5.5 inches. So we're just kind of centering it because it's going to cover the top and bottom as best as we can here. And I think that's going to look great. Just straighten it out a bit so my diagonal stripes are nice and straight. Okay, I think this is a great background stamp too, for not just Christmas. I think it's great for tone on tones. Today we're going to do some heat embossing with it. So I grabbed my Versamark ink pad. We're inking up our background really well. We're going to stamp directly on the front of our card base here. I'm going to grab the sleeve of my shirt and go over it. And I still missed a few spots, so we're going to do a repeat. We're just going to ink up our background stamp one more time to ensure our full coverage here, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab some white embossing powder and we're going to go over the entire panel. Just press down real good. Okay, looks good. Carefully remove it and then we'll cover it with our white embossing powder, and then using my heat gun we'll go ahead and melt it. I love these two colors together. I just think it looks so. This year, if you haven't noticed, guys, I've been kind of using some bright colors for Christmas, and I just love how cheery it looks. I think we need a lot of cheery this year. Okay, I brought in my mini Misty this time, and we're going to do a little bit more stamping. We're going to stamp the letters J-O-Y, and I'm stamping on some white cardstock. I'm bringing in some Concord 9th inks that I have. Starting off with honeysuckle, we're going to ink up the letter J. I put them in my Misty. You could put it on an acrylic block, but just in case I had the double stamp, I brought the mini Misty in just in case. So that was honeysuckle. Next color is called Sprout. We're going to ink up the letter O with that. My ink pads are pretty juicy, but this is like a nice green color. We'll stamp that a few times. And then our last color, we're going to bring in Grapefruit. It's like a really pretty orangey color. We'll ink up the letter Y and stamp that. So nice and bright, cheery colors. Now there's also a little candy that's in the stamp set. There's a base piece and then you have the stripe piece. I'm going to stamp the base piece with the same colors that I stamped the letters with. So we're going to stamp it with the honeysuckle, the sprout, and then last we'll stamp with the grapefruit. So we're going to have some nice colored candies to go with it. And I guess I said that opposite. We stamp with grapefruit first. Okay, now we're going to take our stripe piece, and I wanted some white stripes over the top. I'm just kind of making sure it's dried. I'm going to treat my candies with my anti-static powder bag, and then we're going to stamp the stripe piece with some Versamark ink. We'll ink it up and stamp right over the top of our circles. When I did this, somehow I don't know if it was my ink pad, but I have a little bit of a gray tone on my Versamark, on my candies. But I think I can cover it with my white embossing powder. We'll see. When I cover this, my candies, and you can see how cute the little stripes are. And then using my heat gun, We'll go ahead and melt this, and then we have some white striped candies here. Now I'm going to fussy cut the letters J, O, and Y out. Easy to do. I am going to leave a little bit of a white border. And then for the candies, I'm going to go through my circle dies and find one that will fit. I find that's the best way to cut out your circle candies. So we're all good to go. Next, I have a piece of cardstock that measures 3 inches by 3 3/4, and I'm going to round the corners of the top left and bottom right. And then I also have a strip of the Aqua Sky cardstock. It's about a 1-inch strip. It could be a thinner strip if you want it, but it's the same color that I used for my card base. I'm going to go ahead and add some faux stitching. I'm going to actually need to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. But I wanted a little extra white on the letters of joy. I thought about putting some polka dots or some stripes on there, but I thought faux stitching would be nice. I love the look of faux stitching. We'll zoom in. You can see the Y looks nice. I'm going to do the same thing to the O, and then also we're going to do a little faux stitching around the letters, the letter J. And just kind of brings them to life a little bit. Zoom back out, get a little room going here, and then I'm going to use my tape runner, and we're going to adhere the Aqua Sky cardstock to the left side of our white panel here, leaving a little bit over 1/4 inch, just to add a little color to this. After we have this done, I'm kind of going to line up my candies and the letters J, O, Y and where I want them, and then we're going to stamp the second part of the sentiment. There's a sentiment in here that says wishing you, so it could be stamped on top, or you could put a banner right in the middle of your word joy, but I'm going to stamp "'Tis the Season" in the sentiments on the stamp set, and stamp it right below the word joy. I just thought that would be cute underneath. Okay, once our sentiment is stamped, I did use just my black VersaFine Onyx Black ink. We're going to go ahead and pop up each letter. Since my candies were positioned, what I did was add adhesive behind the letters that the candies are behind. I tapped it down. You can see here, add adhesive, tap it down on top of the candies. And then they're already placed, and I don't have to fussy with them after I add all the letters. So we're just going to add foam adhesive behind all the letters. We'll go ahead and remove the release paper. Kind of serves as double duty. And then you don't have any of your foam adhesive too obstructing your candy placement. We'll add the Y. Then we'll add the J. You can see both of them are popped up with it. And then last we'll add the O. Okay, I think that looks so cheery. Next, I'm bringing in some black and white Baker's Twine. This is actually from Fun Stamper's Journey. It's called Licorice Twist. I added right over the seam, and then we're going to tie a bow a little bit towards the bottom. And then we'll flip this panel over and add this to our card base. I'm going to use my bone folder and kind of reinforce that score line. When I heat set it, kind of made my card base a little bit wonky. We're going to take the release paper off and then add our sentiment panel here right up on top. And then all we need are some finishing touches. I'm just going to bring in my diamond stickles. Love these. I love the color of them. Very iridescent and soft. I added those to the candies. And then off camera, you can see here in the close-up pictures, I did round the corners on the very bottom of my card. But that is card number 16 of my Countdown to Christmas series. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.